Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, testing. Yes, I'm on live. Good evening to you all. Good evening, good evening, good evening to those who are now joining in on this the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Trying to get the system to work. Okay, good evening to those who are now joining. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Share the live to those who are now joining. Share the live stream. Let everyone know that Dr. Matthews is in the house. Share the live. Share the live. Mhm. Share the live. Good evening to you all and welcome, 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 welcome. Tonight is a call-in night. This evening is a call-in evening where we will use the social medium to call in so we can have a live discussion on the state of affairs in Guyana. A very blessed and pleasant good evening to you all. Share the live as you now join. As I welcome you again to this call-in program, this live call-in program tonight. Tag a friend, let them know that Dr. Matthews is on tonight and it's a time for you to call in and let's have this discourse so we can be able to better understand ourselves in the way in which our country is heading, the state of affairs in Guyana. So, as we have it, just hold a minute for me, please. Yes, good. We seems to have everything on tune and intact. So, good evening to you once again from the GMS Live Voice of Democracy here live streaming from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And welcome to you who are now joining on the GMS Live Radio Guyana. A very pleasant good evening to you all from Guyana to the Caribbean Isles, the West Indian Isles, the Pacific Isles, the British Virgin Isles, the US Virgin Isles, the Maldives, Mexico, US, Canada, UK, EU, Beijing, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, the Korean Peninsula, from Pakistan to Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, India. Welcome you to all from us to Australia. And hold a minute for me, please. A very pleasant good evening. Yes, good evening to you, ma'am. I'm fired up. You're live on the GMS live radio and live stream. Tonight is a call-in night. Okay, no problem. No problem. Okay, no problem. Yes, to those who are joining me from the Australian, the, the island continent of Australia, from Melbourne to Tasmania and to the New Zealand Isles, the Tonga Isles, the African continents, Cote d'Ivoire, is, Tanzania, South Africa, North and South Sudan, Zimbabwe, and there's it's a terrible thing that's going on in Zimbabwe pertaining to the electoral process. A lot of people are being denied their right to vote, and all sorts of things are going on. But you know, there's strong enough people who know how to work themselves out of these things. Uh, Rwanda, a very pleasant good night too from my brothers and sisters in Rwanda and Libya. I got a few gentlemen who give me a kind, sometimes a thumbs up from all the way from Libya. Welcome to you this evening. To those who are joining me on the South American continent, uh, from Chile to Argentina to Colombia to Peru, Brazil, Venezuela, Suriname, French and Dutch Guyana, the Netherlands, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago. We seems to have a little bakery in there with Trinidad and Tobago. And the amazing thing is that the de facto illegal president is trying to tell the de facto illegal president and illegal prime minister. I mean, all of them is illegal. And anyhow, vice president is trying to have a war of words with Mr. Rowley. I don't think he's sticking with it. I'm happy to know that he's not sticking with it. We have an illegal administration in power, and we don't want them to represent us. They're illegal. So, to those, all of them who are looking, a very pleasant good night to you. I'm having, before you call in, to let you know that tonight is a call in program. Before you call in, I want you to know that this segment is sponsored by Black Love, the brand that is locally owned and patented by me, Gavin Matthews, and also Event Management Services and Greenleaf Distributors. All can be found on the one number of 611 6575 to place your orders or to find out information of these businesses that can meet your needs. There is an issue that aroused my attention this afternoon. It aroused my attention 2 days ago, where there were where there are persons who are going to houses in Georgetown to find out if people are living there, and so on and so forth. Apparently, it seems to be a house to house thing, like you remember the house to house registration process. So some persons would have maybe reported it on the social media, trying to gain some attention of people going around the place and finding out who lives here and who lives there. Jacom subsequently issued a statement. I was reading the statement just now. And in that statement, they're contradicting their own selves. Here why I'm saying so. Here why I'm saying they're contradicting their own selves. They say that there is reports in the media and the social media that persons are going around claiming to be GCOM staffs, finding out information of persons who are living in the area or in that particular house. They said they don't know of such activity, but hear the nonsense now. But let me make sure that I bring up the but properly. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm going to read it now. Bear stupidness. When you listen to this stupidness, you just gotta laugh. Bear ignorance, yeah? Good. Here with a contradiction itself. I'm reading the first paragraph. It says, in this regard, it is imperative that we make it abundantly clear that GCOM is not currently engaged in any such exercise, nor the Commission authorized anyone, employee or otherwise, to collect information from any person for any reason whatsoever through a house to house visit. Second paragraph. GCOM takes this opportunity to state categorically that, as an integral component of the ongoing registration exercise, registration staff and scrutineers are required to visit the given residential address of applicants for registration to verify that the concerned persons actually live at addresses they would have provided. Such visits are made only after agreement between the applicant and the concerned GCOM staff would have agreed on a date and time. Hmm, let me think of that. How sensible does that sound? I'm You must excuse me, right? Because sometimes I just gotta look up into the abyss and I just got to wonder, where does the craziness lies? You say that you don't give nobody permission to conduct any house to house visits in your first paragraph. In your second paragraph, you say that according to information given by the applicant to the GCOM staff, and the GCOM staff may think otherwise and require for a visit to the residence to confirm that the person is living there, he or she is accompanied by a scrutineer. Hmm. I'm looking for the sense out of the nonsense, the craziness. So you put out a statement. In your first paragraph, you say that you do not or you did not recognize or given permission to persons to do such. But in your second paragraph, then you recognize the permission of persons to do such. The same thing that the first paragraph talked about. Mm. You know, Guyanese. Oh my gosh, the craziness we so much are entangled in. You can imagine these people take me and you for some jack dot. Yes. How much longer can we sit down and have people making learned, educated people fools? How much? I want somebody to really explain to me what that statement that is a statement that was put out by the communication officer of GCOM. That was a statement that was issued. It was a media statement. I just read there from GCOM. In the first paragraph, you deny such claims. But in the second paragraph, you accept such claims. You said GCOM didn't give nobody authority or permission to make visits, house to house visits, just to verify who's living there. But in your second paragraph, you give permission for the same GCOM staff and a scrutineer. A scrutineer means a party representative, a political party representative, to accompany the GCOM staff to make sure that John Doe, which is on that list, is living next to John Public. And it is verified that John Doe is living there by a visit. And here is the thing: the applicant can't tell the GCOM staff that they can't come to the house because it is the rights of the GCOM staff to verify that you're living there. Y'all really understand what's going on here? By the way, a pleasant good evening to you all who are now joining. We are here to discuss the state of affairs in Guyana. It's a call-in segment tonight, Friday night. The phone lines are open. You can WhatsApp call me or call me direct. The number is 592-611-6575. It's a call-in segment time where we discuss the state of affairs in Guyana. Call in and let's have this discourse. Let's jumble up the pot, see what we can get out of the cocoa price. I know we're accustomed to eating the same danger over and over and over again. But let us discuss the de facto regime, the illegal president, the illegal People's Progressive Terrorist Party who occupies the executive of government illegally, and let us discuss the state of affairs and what affects you at the end of the day. To those who are now joining, I know you will expect me to have a long conversation time where I talk the entire time, but we can call in and have that discussion. Very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. A pleasant good night to you. You're on live on the air. Good night to you, sir. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Only two parties scrutiny the employee. What about the other parties? But we have three. We have the joiner party in parliament. Why GCOM or employ those people.
I think what has happened, every political party who's registered under the Guyana Elections Commission would have been given an
Mhm.
invitation to send an individual who's a scrutineer to represent them, because GCOM would have paid, GCOM would have set aside salaries for those persons too.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question. Don't you think that the other political parties would have their representatives throughout the country and they would have happy to send their people here because they're getting paid?
Well, it's up to them. I don't know if they didn't send their
No, I don't think
representative.
no, I don't think that's the case, because if you look, most of the board constitute only of the PPP and PNC. Even you look at the NRF board, they look at PNC and PPP.
Mm.
They're not looking at other smaller political parties, while we have a joiner party in parliament.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's something very disturbing, because how would the other I think it's a disadvantage for the other smaller political parties, like Anok and Schumann and blah blah.
But as I said again, I am 100% guarantee sure that GCOM would have sent out written invitation to these parties who are registered under GCOM to send a delegate of their choice to represent them as a scrutineer. I am 100% sure.
What I'm going to do after this call, I'm going to call some. I know somebody from other party. I'm going to call that person to find out whether they receive such letter from GCOM indicating to send a representative at the GCOM's exercise.
I'd be very much appreciated if you do that. It will help me,
and
because it tells me that others are focused too. Go ahead.
I will know, as soon as I finish with you, I will call somebody who I know from another political party, except the PNC and the PPP, to confirm what you say.
Okay. Very much.
And I will call you back.
Yes, very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Good. And thank you very much for calling. Right? Okay. Good, no problem. Very much appreciate that. Now, that's what I like. I like a civil discourse. Colin, let us discuss the state of affairs in Guyana so I can get to understand what is on your mind as a Guyanese citizen. Let me know. Colin, now is the best time. I don't mind if somebody wants an invitation to come into the StreamYard. Let me know. I can send you one. I can send you an invitation. Once you throw up your email in the conversation section, in the comment section, and I can send you one where you can have a live dialogue also too. So tonight is your night, Guyanese, whether you're in the diaspora or whether you're locally home in Guyana. And I'm 100% sure that that call just came in was locally in home here in Guyana. So let us continue the discourse. It's like the young fella staunchly said just now. He's sure that there's only two political parties has scrutineers, which is the PPP and maybe the PNC or the APNU AFC. But I'm saying to most persons is that the statement, the media statement, or the media release statement that GCOM would have released, it to me it's like utter rubbish. It makes no sense, because in your first paragraph you deny such claims, and in your second paragraph you certify such claims. It is still a visit. It is still a visit. For the person who's visiting the residence of the applicant is to affirm. It is to affirm the resident there, that they're living there, and that is their name. And you will find such event may happen house after house after house after house. And the reason why that will happen, because you find within the past 15 years, a lot of children came into this world as Guyanese, and their parents register them their birth certificate, and they're now knowing as new applicants that are living in. Because I'm sure you go to an area, you can't tell me nobody born 15 years ago. You understand? I think the person is calling back. So the lines are open, so you can call in and we can have this discourse. Yes, good night to you once again, sir. I think you have some information for me.
And he authorized me to call his name.
I didn't hear what you said. Can you repeat?
I said that I've just spoken to Mr. Vishnu Bandhu, the leader of the United Republican Party, and he authorized me to call his name. He was never written to by GCOM.
Mr. Vishnu Bandhu?
Yes.
He is what?
He was never written to by GCOM.
Is his party registered? I think.
Yeah, that is third oldest party in this country, Comrade.
No, but I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really au fait with political parties.
I'm not telling you, after PDP and PNC is URP.
Mm-hmm. United Republican Party.
URP is the third, right? It's the third longest serving party in this country, right? Mm-hmm. Followed by the two parties.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Bandhu is overseas, and he told me he was never written to by GCOM to send representatives to these to conduct these exercises. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm not clarifying to you that has never happened. Only APNU was written to.
Yeah, Partnership for National Unity.
Yes, because Bandhu said he never received a letter.
Oh, he never received a letter. Well,
and he authorized me to call his name.
Uh-huh. Right. So,
and his party is active.
Okay.
What?
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, sir. I am listening to you.
So I promise to get back to you on this because I told him I'm going to get back on. I did call Mr. Bandhu and he said, "Look, call my name."
Mm-hmm. Well, what you can do is ask Mr. Vishnu Bandhu if he wants. He can also make it more conformative that if he can tune in on the show and let's even have that discourse himself. If you want, I can send him. He can email me. The information is right on the or he can give me a WhatsApp call. I don't mind.
You mean now?
Yes, right now I don't mind. You can give me a WhatsApp call. I don't mind.
Excuse me, let me call him.
Good.
Good.
Right? Right. Now we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. And the reason why you find these things are occurring now, and I told you guys a little while ago, there is an intentions for a snap election. And the reason why the snap elections, there is an intention for it because when Parliament is reconvened, hold on, it's getting hot in here. A very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to the GMS Live Voice of Democracy in the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Go right ahead, sir. State what's on your mind.
Evening, Gavin. Are you here?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Question would be, in my opinion, no election should take place without a clean voters list, house-to-house registration. And I believe I heard there's other conducting registration. I know GCOM put out a statement that they have not authorized any registration by anybody else, but apparently that's going on.
No, but so before you go on, GCOM put out a statement regarding that. The very first paragraph is disassociating themselves from the allegation that is being made. And the second paragraph in the same statement, the same media release, as a matter of fact, contradicts what they say in the first paragraph. If you go on the internet, you're going to find it. So it's it's it's
So,
it's
so
Looney
they're playing
Tooney.
games. They're playing games,
Uh-huh.
and I believe private charges should already been filed. Well, it was filed, and the DPP dropped the charges. So is Guyana really? I mean, this place is so corrupt. That's in my opinion. Um, and for 23 years, the place has been corrupt, and you can't go back from that corruption that's embedded in all facets of society in Guyana. It's just a cesspool of corruption and thieving going on. You can't get the police to investigate themselves.
No, well, you got to understand. You got to understand the Constitution. The Commission of Police is the delegative arm of the president, because the president, according to the Constitution, is the chief law enforcement officer. That is why he cannot be held for crimes that he commits in or out of office. So the Commission of Police, according to the Constitution, carries out his delegation, and the Deputy Commissioner of Police, the Assistant Commissioner of Police onward, going back to Lance Corporal and Constable, is being controlled by what you call the Police Service Commission. And the Police Service Commission is inactive. So you get my point. Everybody's answerable now to the Commissioner of Police, who is controlled by the president. So he can't investigate nothing unless he's been directed to.
So you have no independence.
No, we don't have an independence.
Because so how the hell do you guys expect the damn country to run properly when all of that type of stuff is going on? It's sheer thievery going on in that place, and a lot of people getting rich, not paying taxes, and everybody think it's okay. They don't stand up for the right. They get a slap in the face, and they're asking for more. Slap me some more, people, officials. You know, what type of crazy people you got there, man? How you sign contracts? You have no procurement in place. How the hell that goes on? It's a cowboy place, man.
It's not a real place. It was never a real place.
Guyana not a real country, man, and they're talking about the Dubai of the Caribbean. Hell no. These folks build roads on what is it? On mud, and then couple morning they got to go, and of course they're giving their friends and cronies more money to build. How are you going to build a road that can't even get to traffic going in opposite direction? You have no sidewalk, and these people are calling that progress. What type of crazy stuff in there like that going on there, man?
I know. That's why we got to get back to the originality of where it was. When Mr. Granger, was president.
Mediocrity.
When Mr. Granger was president.
If you accept mediocrity,
go ahead.
If you're going to allow them to build a road and you don't have the sidewalks and no street lights, and you just say, well, at least we get a road, that's stupidity. You're accepting mediocrity by just thinking, well, okay, at least you get a road. What type of stupidness is that? And you guys are accepting it as well. What we gonna do?
Well, not me. Yeah. Well, if you know me, I ain't accepting the nonsense. You understand?
Yeah, man. So I mean, I find there's no hope at this point in time, unless you really lock people up, because how are you going to shoot a woman in the stomach and you that people been heard of. Whatever happened to that RU that shoot that woman in the summer? Did anybody know?
No, but here now we got the worst one, the latest one. We have Mr. Carl Singh's son who spat on the security of a policewoman who provides security at the residence. He has never apologized. He's not arrested. He's not charged. The legal fraternity does nothing, but this guy has a history of abuse. He was.
So here's the question I do have. Why do he need taxpayers' money for security? Is he a government official?
No, his father was the ex-chancellor of the judiciary. So certain requirements are still.
Is the key word.
Uh-huh.
No, that's fleecing taxpayers. He's ex. Let him pay for his own damn security. He's ex.
Well, maybe that's his.
Will you continue to accept that?
That's his retirement compensation.
What?
Yes, just like ex-presidents.
That's why the country have no money.
Well, you know, I'll be honest with you. It's corruption all the time. It's corruption all the time. That's what we're going through. Okay?
Man, thank you for taking the time to listen to me, but I really don't see the average man, and especially my African Guyanese brother and sister, they are really in a poor piss situation, and it seems like they've been beaten down, and unless they start to clap back or do something, they're gonna be more subjugated, and they are already a second-class citizen in Guyana. So don't see anything else positive happening to them.
Okay, but
thank you for your time.
Yes, you're welcome. Stay safe and be careful.
Okay. Yes. So I know that there are other persons who are trying to call in. You can still call in. I'm not a second class citizen, though. I'll be telling you that I have privilege and I'll demand my privilege. I'll demand that the de facto administration must recognize me. And also, I don't want anything from them, but my rights must be respected as a human being, as an aboriginal. So I don't have no time with them. I'm making some callbacks. The persons who were calling, you can still call in now. Okay. I think this person is, yep. All right. So we have the other issue at hand where we got the other issue at hand where oh yes, the person is calling now. Very a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Go ahead, sir. Fire away.
Yes, good evening to you.
Highlighting this situation whereas the former Carl Singh son was put on this security guard. No, this is very disrespectful. You know, these people doing all sorts of nothing is have no problem with nothing at all. Security guard just hold one hand and just don't go to work something, you understand, because these people they like come to guard them 24/7. And that's the gratitude you can show by spitting on them.
And the thing is that the police force, to me, is not showing any action. Privately, these persons now, there are more persons who are coming out to make other claims of harassment and abuse by the same individual who has a history of abusing women, who
who was expelled from the university in Canada that he went to school to study law, who was also who was also given detention in QC when he was found cheating. He was found cheating in the university in Canada. He was found cheating in the Queen's College. And then he has a history of abuse.
Yes.
You understand? And these are the kind of people that we got to put up in society. And then the other thing is that he's a registered lawyer.
Yes, yes. But Gavin, you be saying this all the time. Shut the blast country down, man. Who just couple come up and let me stand for none done. These people disrespectful overbearing.
It's not only overbearing, but we are encouraging a whole lot of things that are not right. We need to stand up for our rights. We need to take a stand.
It's very sad to say that when we can come, we can find a shop for going and we got to go. We got no problem. Once Friday come and we find a big garden or some shop is along there, I don't care what happens. I continue to come as for Guyana and nobody came. You understand? Monday morning we get the Pagado again. This will take no stand. Look, for instance, I see the bombarded 94.1. Right now they got a big on the forestry tongue today. People out there, the Africans out there, big gyrating and going on with the case may be. And look what happened. Man spit on a woman and a sound. And all the big announcers, they got Casual, they got Garden Mosley, they got Felice, they got the one Aquino who's that to a single chicken. Nobody highlighting these issues.
It's full distraction. 94.1 is used for the distraction. Play the music, keep the beat up.
All big DJs, you understand? And nobody's highlighting these things. And still, the people still running behind them. 94.1, 94.1. Oh,
because they ain't got no choice. They ain't got a brain of their own.
I do have other people must.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling and letting the general public know how you feel. And tonight is that night for all those who want to call in so we can discuss the state of affairs in Guyana. I know to some persons who are not hearing very well, but I can't help it. The thing is that the instruments that I have, we're trying with that. And I wish you can bear with me. But when the call is calling, some persons' instruments are not that updated like mine. And sometimes you get a muffled with a muffled sound in the feedback. Some people would be able to hear it, some would not. So try to follow with me. The caller said something that was very, very, very important just now. He said 94.1 is having an anniversary celebration, and all the DJs and radio announcers, what we hear in the morning, are celebrating on that, and nobody's raising the issue, especially with Mr. Carl Singh's son, who spat on the police officer and have a lot of derogatory remarks to tell her. Racist and systematic racism that they're exercising. And, we got to take a stand. We have to. It's a must. Take a stand tonight. Call in and talk about the state of affairs in Guyana and what is on your mind. Call tonight is your night. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Guyanese all, tonight is your night to call in to have that discourse. Let us be a part of the solution tonight. Let us be a part of that solution tonight. Hold on. Very pleasant good evening to you. Thank you very much for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy, the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Go ahead, fire away.
Yeah, Miss Matthews, good night. I'm calling from the UK. I'm calling to make a contribution.
Go ahead.
It's not that people don't want to stand up, but people are afraid. People are just afraid of the repercussions should they stand up. Because there's a young lady who showed up for work the other day, last week, Tuesday, went to lunch. When she came back, she was given a dismissal letter, termination letter, after 6 years of no warning letter for anything that they might have been concerned about. But all of a sudden, she's out of a job, and she's the only breadwinner. She just she and her mom. So she's afraid to speak. She says she's just going to leave it like that. So not a, but they're afraid.
Well, I would like for her to come, because what are you afraid of now? You already lost a job. You understand? You have already lost the job. Now is the right time to
she
take
is
a
thinking
stand.
that they might want to get back at her, with the, blacklist her, because the department that she used to work in, she knows that they are to blacklist people when you complain about them. And the thing is, she hasn't been paid her money since January.
Well, let her call me. Let her call me and give me the information, and let me help to plaster it. I'm, these are the things that we need to strengthen each other in the understanding of a representation of a people, and the same thing I'm talking about. Let her call me, because I'm a political prisoner. I can't even defecate unless if I ask them to permission. But I don't care.
Pardon?
No, I'm a political prisoner in my own country. But that doesn't stop me from speaking out and speaking out to the rights of Guyanese. You understand what I mean? So the only way we're going to change things is unless we take a stand. Let her know that she can call me. Tell her to call me, provide me the information. We need to take a stand now. I can, to represent, that is what I do every single day on this show. Believe you me, I can't have a job. My companies can't have contracts because I got 3 businesses. I can't have nothing. Heaven knows how I survive. But that is nothing going to stop me from speaking out.
God's good grace and mercy.
Believe you me, I've stopped even singing that way and all too. Good grace and mercy, prepare for Gavin Matthews. Because I am not going to sit down and allow the terrorists to oppress us even more. This is a form of oppression. This is a form of slavery, and this is a form of systematic racism. And we need to eradicate it now.
How could you fire somebody, and worst of all, you haven't even paid them their money?
Understand? I very much understand what you say. But unless, look, she can't even go to the Ministry of Labor, because you know why? The Ministry of Labor works for the de facto administration, which is illegal. So we got to address our problems here on these medium. Let the world, because if we don't address this problem now on this medium, nobody knows what goes on in the air.
If you know how sad I am every day from since 2020 to now, I have been so concerned about my country. It's as if you're watching a beloved child drowned, and each time you stretch your hand to save that child, they keep going more and more deep into the ocean. That is how it appears.
Okay, understand. Very much understand.
Anyhow, do as you suggest. Make her get in contact.
Yes, give her the number. Let her get in contact with me. Don't let her be afraid. Now is the time to take a stand. Now is the time to speak out. If we don't speak out, we will remain just as we are. We got to take the stand now. Use the medium in which it's designed for. I have 2 medium. One is an online radio station where you can download the app. It's on Facebook, The Gavin Matthews Show. From since you go into there, the application for the online radio is right there. You can just tap on it and download it to your phone. Then you have the live streaming.
Is it on the App Store?
Yeah, no, no, no. It's in Play Store. I just can't find it in App Store. I just don't
Okay.
know why. It's supposed to be in App Store, but
Okay.
if you have an iPhone, you have to have a Google account in order to download it on the iPhone.
Yeah. You have a
Okay?
right, Mr. The good work.
Thank
Going.
you very much. Stay safe and be
Yes.
careful. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Good night to you. Yes. So, to those who are still wanting to call in, now is the right time. Tonight is your night, Guyanese. It is a night so you can call in so we can have this discourse. You can do it either direct or you can do it either WhatsApp. I don't mind. You can call in and vent your frustration. I don't mind. It is that time we should take that stand because look, for instance, she just complained of somebody working wherever she's working for 6 years. Hold on. Uh, Good night to you, sir, once again. Hello? Uh, Here what's happening. Something is either wrong with the instrument or your internet because your call is breaking up. It's not coming in that smoothly as it should. What I should advise you to do if you want to call direct, which will be much more clearer. You understand? And so we can hear you. Are you hearing me? I want to say this to those who are calling. You need to turn down the instrument in the background that you're seeing the live feed from. Because when you hear yourself, it has a delay. So you can't listen to yourself. If you're on the phone, it's a distraction. You understand? You got to speak into the phone, turn down the instrument. So you will be better heard because you pausing yourself every time you try to hear yourself over the medium on the instrument in which you're using to view and to hear the live stream from. Okay? Uh, you cannot just work for 6 years, be given a letter and be sent home. You haven't been paid since January. These are the same thing that and good evening to you, sir. Just speak again so I can hear you. Did you turn on the instrument in the background for me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm hearing you much better now. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just backing up on what the previous caller just now said. Because if she already lost her job, there's nothing to hold back now. You understand me? So I don't know why she should be afraid to come forward. You understand me? We gotta take a stand as Africans in this country. We just allowing these people to bulldoze us. Right? We gotta take all along and other people shut the blast country down, man. You understand, right? If we can't get away, because this is too overbearing and this is disrespectful.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
We accustomed with we could do come forward. And one more thing before I leave, God.
Go ahead.
I want all the police don't you listen like the 4.1 up now and call them this man. And all women who's running the HP like the 4.1 when they come, she come out and call them this matters it. Thank you, Gavin.
Yes, you're welcome. Stay safe and be careful. Yes. So to those who are in the comment section, I'm going to respond to one person. It says, "Oh yes," to the person who's talking. The application for the radio station, you can't miss it. It's Gavin Matthews. It's my face on the app that says GMS Live Radio Guyana. So you can't miss it. You understand? My face is the identification of power, Aboriginal power. So you can't miss it. I That's why I put my face there, because I'm a force to reckon with. Okay? Let me take this call. Very pleasant good night to you. Welcome to the GMS Live, Voice of Democracy, and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Go ahead, fire away. Go ahead. Go ahead, right away. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, what I'm called to say, there was interview with Barjagio, and this lady that come from the States, from America, and they had some news media was in the conference, and this man was lying from A1 to AB. This man lying about everything. This man lying about with the question them that them asking. You, Mark Ben, he was a instructor, but he was lying. This man totally lying. That all when the racism, he said they are always confronting the opposition. Is the opposition is the racism, and blaming the opposition. Is the opposition is the racism. This Jack, this liar and vindictive guy, you know, who murder all these black people, and these people still following this guy, you know.
Do you know why lots of blacks still follow Jack Dio?
They get the soup. They get the soup somewhere. Somewhere they get you some soup. Some soup that thinking.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you think if we were standing up against him as a people will still follow him?
No.
Well, good. The discussion now tonight, right, is what can we do? What can we do to resolve such a problem? Here. You need to turn down the instrument in the background. You need to turn the instrument down in the background, because you're going to listen to yourself and you're going to have a delay.
Yeah, turn it up.
You're going to have a delay if you're listening to yourself. Okay? Okay, good. I think that person internet has been cut. Yes. It is strictly simple. Now, if we got people following Jack, they will look like me. It is because we are not holding them accountable. You think if we turn up at the de facto prime minister's residence, that picture perfect painting that we have as a prime minister, if we turn up at his residence tonight and protest, you think he'll sit down there quietly tomorrow, Jack? We put him pressure on him, but we don't do anything. Let me show you another instance. You could imagine the rice farmers wanted an extra $5,000 on their ton of paddy, moving from 60 to 65,000. A small group of them decided to protest and get on bad, real bad. You know what happened? Four members of the de facto regime, the illegal president, ear fraud, the illegal vice president, the rat, the de facto attorney general, and Mustafa turn up to give them satisfaction. So imagine we ain't doing nothing. They're doing something and they get satisfaction. If we turn up tomorrow, you don't think we can get the same thing too? I told you all from since the beginning of my show. The only way the People's Progressive Terrorist Party listens is when you protest because they're afraid of that. Say, if we don't do nothing, we keep complaining. By go down on your knees and pray. Pray and ask God that the thing gonna change. Well, here, believe you me, we can keep bruising our knees and nothing gonna happen because you know why? The miracles of the Supreme Being only works in you who decide to get up and move. See what going on? And we want to blame the political leaders. Yes, they're supposed to be blamed. But you think them rice farmers sit down for blame Jack Dio and all them? They turn up the heat for them. You able to tell them, me vote for you. So if you don't tell them that you gotta give me $5,000, you can't get me vote. So they got to get up now and go there to comfort those who are protesting against their laziness against them. So imagine we who are sitting down home, ready and waiting to be entertained, and ain't doing nothing. We want to be entertainers. You could imagine these people taking away our rights from us as a people, take away our constitution, and we move in racism to its fullest, oppression to its fullest, genocide to its fullest, and we move in. Let tomorrow morning to bring Sean Paul and somebody else to go tomorrow at the national at the stadium. We can turn up by the tens of thousands. They ain't got space in your vehicle park. But to go and stand up, to take a stand for your own rights to exist. We in there under. By me politics in there under cause me got time with politics. Let it do what it gotta do. But you fail to realize that what they do affects you. Affects you. What they do affects you. Show your simple common sense. You got 10 people living through the street, 10 houses, 10 families. 9 of them doesn't have jobs. Only you alone have a job. Only you alone has a kitchen garden in your yard. Only you alone got a foul pen in your yard. Only you alone got a pig pen and duck and all these things mining in your yard. You expect to live in peace? You rowing, let her go and get a walk. The guy any walk. But when it turning up, the two black to get a walk. They got to be slaves in order to get a job. Only use the active slave living through the street. You get him a point? What you think will happen there? There are families where it's left hungry. Circumstantial constraints put them in the position. You know what's the circumstantial constraints? The color of the skin. They represent the PNC. And the PPP make sure to put them in a corner that they can't get nothing. And you who have the resources, you who now becomes the role model, looks at them as slaves because your epitome, sorry, your level of education and understanding can only go above certain way because you were designed to be like that. You were entrapted by the system. So your education becomes what they say. The food that you eat becomes what they tell you to eat. The medication that you take becomes what everything becomes designed by the system. So you fail to see the logics in representing them. So when people like me turn up, you say, oh, he there on chauvinist. Me there on door, me gonna represent no black people. Me got time with them. But little do you know that it is your actions that support their action, which is the de facto regime, because you do not want to represent who you call family or kinsman. You think you could go in them villages in Moore or LBI and them places and operate, sir? You think them people is operate, so you're mad? You're crazy? So I'm now saying to you who are looking on this live stream, ask yourself the position in which you're in and understand the state of affairs in Guyana. And what are you going to do about it? What is the solution? My solution is to take a stand. The phone lines are still open. You can still call and you can still make your contribution because I want to hear from you. I want the de facto regime to hear your voice, telling the world, telling everybody along across the social media, internationally. I want them to hear your voice. Speak up and speak out. Call the number. Let's have this discourse, Guyanese. Do not talk ourselves away from society that is badly wounded and looking for a representation to represent them. Do not tuck yourself away from society. Because it is not doing any help or is not giving any justice to what is happening in this country. It is we, the people, for the people, by the people. We have to represent us. Gavin Matthews alone, I'm willing to go beyond this. Thank you for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy, the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Can you please turn down the instrument in the background before you start speaking and fire away at it?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, right away,
Yeah,
sir.
as I'm saying, okay, saying they should investigate this guy to see how much case he try and how much black cases he tried to see, how much is convicted. I think they should do that to find out, to see how much, and what is the percentage of cases he do it for the Indians and what percentage he do for the black and how much he convicted for the blacks. Then you will find out more about this guy. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you very much, then. Very much appreciate that. Very, very much appreciate that. And, I'll be honest with you. The media and the legal fraternities, they're supposed to be a free media. But apparently we don't have a free media. The media, I can show you how the media is controlled in Guyana. We have a media body. I think the president of the media association or the media body is Nazima Rakabir. I think I'm predominantly correct. But in order for you to be a part of that association, you have to have a media pass. The media pass is being goes through her, but it is authorized by the Commissioner of Police to have such a media pass because it has to have the emblems of the Guyana Police Force stamp on it in order for you to have that pass to conduct media business for media houses across Guyana. But if the Commissioner of Police gives you that authority, that means you're being controlled. Let us say, for instance, now I apply for a media pass and the Media Association decide to grant me. The second thing is that I still have to wait for the Commissioner of Police to give me that approval to go into places like where these de facto members of this illegal government to cover their speeches and their public addresses, which wouldn't worth a thing because I still can't turn up if I don't have a media pass. That means I'm controlled. And if the de facto president Torong said the illegal president Torong said, like how to tell what's his name when they chased him out of office, the president thing was the same guard Mosley. When Jack Dio chased him out of office, the president, the commissioner of police has to take back the media pass from him because he's in charge of that. That is his position. So why I'm talking about the media wouldn't investigate this guy. Right now, they're the quietest thing in Guyana. All these atrocities that are going on, they ain't even covering it. All these atrocities that are going on, they ain't even covering. Let me show you a simple instance. Do you know that the Federal Bureau of Investigation agents were down here the other day after the fancy interview with Mr. Jack Dio? Were here to investigate the same vice president. They were here. They were here to give to investigate these allegations that were made against him. That's another way of tightening his screws so he can't budge because the Federal Bureau of Investigation has him under a watchful eyes. A lot of them, you know, these criminals, which is part of the government that call themselves minister, criminals. They're what you call they're what you call questionable characters. Questionable characters. Suddenly, 19 fraud charges suddenly is not. It is not challenged anymore by the Director of Public Prosecutions. So all charges are being dropped. So we can't prosecute the president for the illegal president for crimes he committed before he came into office. We can't take Mr. Jagdio to court for the 1,480 Guyanese that disappeared under his rule as president, who ain't turn up dead, turn up headless, can't find them. We can't take him to court. I can tell you something. Yeah, best pray and hope I don't become president because I can put him in a jumpsuit and on a private plane, chained like a penguin, and make sure he meet the Hague. Lee stand there, find a prison and sell for putty there. Some of we leaders frightened for say what I just said. Them boys is murderers. They are responsible for the deaths of Guyanese. Our population It's not even 1 million people, and this boy got 1,400 plus deaths under his belt. That is genocide. You call 900 and something people that died in Rwanda as a genocide? This one, what happened in Guyana is a genocide. This is, you could imagine all this lawlessness take place, and we ain't even moving. Them boys supposed to lie down and sleep and get fat and turn around and got big fancy fish frying in a cannery and all them nonsense to show them the good life they're living. Them boys supposed to sit down. Them boys supposed to study now for make we comfortable and move we off the streets because we protesting day and night. Who in there on Facebook in a fancy suit flashing? I mean, you ain't even supposed to be doing it right now, you know. I can't be a politician, friend. I telling you, me office is the road. Can I walk in is everybody walking behind me. Making the life the police walk uncomfortable. The police got lock me up every day. I mean taking lock up neither. Thank you for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. This is Dr. Matthews. Go ahead, fire away. Hello. Uh, I think what you need to do when you call in, just turn down the instrument in the background. If you know you don't want to speak, please don't call. Don't call and occupy the phone line if you don't want to talk. Even if you don't like me and your call, say something so I could be able to respond to you. You understand? You know what? I can call you back just to see if. Let me see. I think I know who was calling. Oh yes, I know who was calling. I think this person. This is the GMS Live Radio and the GMS Live Voice of Democracy calling you back. Good night to you, sir. Good night to you, sir.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. But sometimes you got to realize that Guyanese, I don't want to be critical of what I'm saying, but it's a fact. Guyanese people, they're not interested. They don't care. Most of them think what you're saying is a joke.
Well,
It's like throwing water from duck's back. And that is why the situation that is going on in Guyana is how it is. They're not interested in the well-being. When I saw Paul ready for Honor Bounty Killer who come to perform a show, the show is sold out.
Okay. I hear you.
Right. They're not doing that. And it's a shame. They're not interested.
Understand.
Every day. They're not interested. They're only interested in nonsense and things that are not important and cannot benefit them in any way.
Okay.
So they don't really care what you're saying. It's like they want the fuck. And that is why we, the black people, is feeling the squeeze today. We are feeling it more than any other race in the country. We have to take a stand. I don't know when that will be, but we have to take a stand soon. Because right now, pressure applying every day, and we feeling it. Nobody want to build a cat, so it's like throwing water from dog back. And not interested in your well-being. That's my contribution for tonight. You have a blessed night, Dr. Matthews.
Yes, you will. Thank you very much, and you too. You have a blessed night. I'm going to respond to some persons on my comment. Uh, I'm going to make sure that some persons on my comment make sure that yes, I see one person is saying that Gavin, you should run for office in Parliament. I've already have 10,000 votes. Well, I have permanent members with roughly 15,000 people, so that's 3 seats. Yes, I can do that. You understand? I can do that. I don't have a problem. But my intention is not to run for 3 seats in Parliament. My intention is to take over. So when an elections is called and I win the elections, people got to start running. I normally use there was this Jamaican Prime Minister, I think was her name, Patricia Miller. In her government, they had a transportation minister, and I normally use that as a reference. Raise the bus fare to 5 Jamaican cents. I think Miss Miss Camilla Bissessa then was the prime minister for Trinidad. You know, he had to fly to Trinidad to seek refuge. He had to fly to Trinidad to seek refuge. But another thing that is very much concerning, I see one person says here, uh hold on, wait. I see one person is saying here that lots of people would not talk like you. They're afraid. The rice farmers did what they had to do to get their rights. Black people are okay, so they don't have to come out. But what are you okay with? Are you okay with being afraid? Are you serious? I see one person says, not true, sir. The Guyanese people are scared point blank. But what are you scared with? Let's take facts. The highest budget ever in the history of Guyana, 545 billion Guyana dollars was passed. 545 billion Guyana dollars was passed. And not a cent going to the black community. Not a cent. And it's sending no more persons. You could imagine all the money pass. And then you don't got money now for pay salary. But suddenly you meet at region 2 to say we're going to have to employ temporary staffs so we can find work for them so they can earn money. So what happened to the 3,000 people who get sent home, friend? Plus public servants that get sent home. What happened to them? 545 billion pass. And we can't take a stand? Are you serious? Not one? We can't put on a foot on the ground to represent ourselves? Because not a cent of this money we ain't getting. Not one single cent. 20.7 billion alone is allocated to an area on the East Coast and more, which is 100 million US dollars for a packaging plant. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Are we that serious? Are we that serious? I am trying to find out if we lost the ability to think, and to focus. I am trying to ask myself this question. Are we that serious? Thank you for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Fire away, go right ahead.
My black brothers and sisters and all coalition members and leaders, except that wicked coolie boy. Don't cut me off. Except that wicked coolie boy that spit in my sister Freedom. The reason why I call, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
The reason why I call in tonight, I'm calling him Mr. Norton. I follow you from the age of 15. And the first time you make a error, the error, what I see you make, when the diplomats from America come in Guyana there and ask to meet with the opposition leader, I believe common sense. I'm speaking about common sense. Mr. Norton, you should never reach with the ambassador, because there you have a chance to show her how the ambassador is operating only one color and not all the color. Don't cut me off. Let me finish. Agree. Then you will have all the facts, all the docs lined up and say, look, the reason why I say I may not need the ambassador with you because of what she did in the election, where she's not supposed to, because no ambassador supposed to do in this country what she did. Ambassador in every country is to protect the country interest and the citizen interest in business and if they're in trouble. Anyway, he was not a leader. And then you have to act what she did, what she said, because I can remember she gave a press conference with 4 or 3 Venezuelan women, and to say Guyanese must respect Guyanese women. But there's a fine print come under that. And the fine print what see and read, she's speaking to black people, respect Guyanese, respect the Venezuelan women. She never come out and speak about respect Guyanese women or black women. When the wicked cabal, they allow Guyanese women and children out of their own land, belongs to Guyanese. That's number one. The biggest one now, she did not come out yet and say that the Indian men, the wicked Indian men that must respect Guyanese woman, black woman. How can she say she went till at Texas with Jack Joseph conference said, we did it. I order with my own A's and C. We did it. We made them, we made the exact word. What if tell the just step down and let democracy ways. We did it. Guyanese, I'm saying to you guys, I'm a Guyanese. Please regain your dignity, your respect, your honor. It is time for you guys to say enough is enough. Listen what the Chief Justice said to the black lawyers who represent the coalition. What good for the goose is good for the gander. Teachers, a nurse,
every action is a reaction. Don't make the next one get away with murder.
So here was my question to you. Here was my question to you. Why are you waiting for a next one to get away with murder? Huh? I I am I don't mind people got passions. I got a passion too. But I want to let people know one thing. There are certain words that I don't really condone because it sends a message. If you want to talk about black, talk about black. If you want to talk about a different ethnic race, talk about what they allow as racism against us. Because at the end of the day, I think we need to understand this very, very clearly. Racism is alive. Racism is a part of this system that we live by. It is being adjusted constantly by the Commonwealth. Racism is being carried out upon Guyanese by this de facto administration. Let us identify it. Let us stand and take a stand against it. Let us be strong within our words. Why I think I asked the question just now. Why must we wait until the next man spit upon another Guyanese woman? He should never wait. Now is the time. We shouldn't promote patience. That's a violation. That's a human right violation. Racism mustn't be practiced by no other religion or race of people upon us as Guyanese. They must be afraid to do that. That is what I'm talking about. I want to say thank you to those who were listening, those who were tuned in and was a part of this calling program tonight. I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I was very much pleased that I had lots of callers tonight that would have called in to make this calling program something to happen every Friday night for you to call and vent your feelings on the state of affairs in Guyana. That's one. Number two, the process of registering is unconstitutional. It's not going according to how it's supposed to be done. We have things that are happening in this country where people are unsatisfied with. Other political parties are being kept out of the scrutineering process of identification of individuals. There are continuous mounting problems with people being sent home and not being able to have work, people not being given the full medical attention. There are continuous problems that are happening within the Black community and communities that they are not part of the economic process in this country. Guyanese, we need to take a stand. Black love to you all. Black love is a brand that was created by me, processed by me, and owned by me that you all can be a part of. I sell this brand on products like clothing, instruments, ornaments. So it is to process the fight and keep the fight alive in this country. Call the number at the bottom of your screen if you're interested in patronizing these brands so you can wear it and it can be identified. This is the only way and means and necessary for me to make a strive against this racial inequality process of murder, mayhem, and terror against the people in this country that we call Aboriginals. I want to say thank you, stay safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, wear a mask. Don't forget the little ones you take into public places. This is Dr. Matthews saying good night. Cheerios for now. I will see you at a later time. On Monday, there is a youth empowerment program that has been run by some young people that will be available on the program on a different heading, youth empowerment, by some wonderful young ladies and young men to power the process of youths in this country to give an ear and an understanding. So must tune in. I will put up the notification so you'll be able to tune in and listen to young people speak. Good night. Cheerios for now.